हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे चैनल इग्नू सेंटर पर। तो दोस्तों, हमने कल MEG01 की जो सॉल्व असेसमेंट था, क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 और क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 कराया था। और आज हम आपको क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 और क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 कराने की प्रयास करेंगे। अगर क्वेश्चन लंबा ना जाए तो हम इसको एक ही पार्ट में बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे, जो कि आपका क्वेश्चन रहेगा आज का। हु वेर द प्री रेफटाइल्स and what were the characteristics of the movement? Critically appreciate any one poem of this age or movement। और दोस्तों, इसका आंसर हमारा यहाँ सॉल्व असाइनमेंट के PDF में है। तो हम आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं कि हमारा एक चैनल है जिसका नाम है जर्नी बरी। डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में आपको हम लिंक दे देंगे, आप उसको भी ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करिएगा और हमारे चैनल को ग्रो करने में मदद करिएगा। तो दोस्तों, हम आज क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 जो है आपको कराने जा रहे हैं। जैसे कि हमने आपको आगे ही क्वेश्चन बोला था कि इसका क्वेश्चन रहेगा, हु वेर द प्री रेफटाइल्स एंड व्हाट वेर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ द मूवमेंट, क्रिटिकली अप्रिशिएट एनी वन पोएम ऑफ दिस एज और मूवमेंट। और इसका आंसर रहेगा, द ब्रदरहुड प्रोडक्ट हाईली कन्विंसिंग एंड सिग्निफिकेंट वर्क। वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट डिपार्चर्स the pre-refertals made from contemporary pictorial convention was thought the representation of the human anatomy in their early works. Brotherhood members Rossetti, Hunt, and Millais all produced religious painting marked for the realism of their bodies and the oddness of their posture. The best example of this is Christ in the house of his parents by Millais. The mimetic accuracy by which the characters are portrayed reflect the pre-Raphael's penchant from expressive empiricism, that is, painting real human model as accurately as possible. The main criticism leveled against their work from an entirely unprepared audience was that it married the lofty sentiment of a religious subject with the physical baseness of realistic character. These were critics unsympathetic to the pre-Raphael's ideals of fidelity to nature and true, honest depiction by token of which they studied each human figure from a model going to nature in all singleness of heart. As Ruskin had exhorted young painters in modern painters, the critics were used to the chiaroscuro of the old masters, and they wanted to see dignificant human form with beautiful bodies and face. Let us now look at two of the poems by Mr. Rossetti, My Sister's Sleep and The Blessed Damozel, My Sister's Sleep. In My Sister's Sleep, Rossetti described the last moment of a dying girl's life, though the narration of her brother Rossetti develops an intensely sensory poem characterized by a dark moon, though his description of sight and sound. Various techniques used invite the reader to express the pain of loss along with the mother and brother. The poem explores different emotions and reactions to the death of a loved one. This piece emphasizes such differences between the brother and mother of the girl. Rossetti expertly developed this qualities in his description of the character's body language and speech. He never has to announce his characterization bluntly. The reaction of the characters, along with the description of sight and sound, smile, and word choice, produce a dark and sober mood. Stanza 10 to 15 showcase these techniques effectively. Rossetti shows his sophisticated talent as a poet in his impressive depiction of tangible and intangible elements, which all enhance the mood. The attention to detail and emotion parallel the same precious he exhibited in his painting. My Sister Sleeps provides a strong example of pre-Raphaelite brotherhood poetry because of these qualities. The Blessed Damozel. Dante Gabriel Rossetti was only 19 when he wrote The Blessed Damozel in 1847. It was published in the Germ in 1850. Although Rossetti was still young, the image and theme in his poem have catch the attention of many critics throughout the years. The Blessed Damozel is a beautiful story of how two lovers are separated by the death of the damozel and how she wishes to enter paradise, but only if she can do so in the company of her beloved. The Blessed Damozel is one of Rossetti's most famous poems and has been dissected and explicated many times by many different peoples. Even so, they all revolve around the same ideas and theme. The theme of Rossetti's poem is said to have been taken from Vita Nuova, separated love are to be rejoined in heaven by Dante. Many people say his young vision of idealized love was very picturesque and that the heavens Rossetti so often painted and those which were in his poem were much like Dante. The heaven that Rossetti painted in The Blessed Damozel was warm with physical bodies and beautiful angels full of love. This kind of description of heaven was said to have been taken from Dante's ideas. Others said that Rossetti's heaven was described so in The Blessed Damozel because he was still young and immature about such matter. In other words, he had not yet seen the ugliness and despair that love can bring, which he experienced later in his life after the death of his true love Elizabeth Siddal. The Blessed Damozel is beautiful in that it flows so easily from one line to the next, and it seems, although it is not very apparent, that Rossetti filled it with symbolism and references to his own personal feeling and future life. The first few stanzas tell of how the damsel is in heaven overlooking earth and taking of her lover. Rossetti writes in stanza 3 of how times to the damsel seemed to last forever because she was without her love. To one it is 10 years of years. There are few stanzas in the poem where the narrative jumps to her lovers. In stanza 4 it is the lover on earth thinking about his beloved. The next few stanzas describe heaven, where it lies, and other lovers reuniting around her as she sits and watches alone. In stanza 10 and 11, her earthbound lover describes the sound of her voice like a bird song, which tells the reader that not only is he thinking of her, but it hints he can hear her and feel her about him. Of course, She cannot understand why she must be miserable in heaven when all others are with their lover. After all, are not two players of perfect strength. Stanza 12. In stanza 13, she dreams of the day that they will be together and present themselves in the beauty and glory of God. It is also in this stanza and that Rossetti lets the reader know that she has not yet entered heaven. She is at the outer gate of the kingdom of heaven. Though the second half of the poem, the damsel refers to herself and her lover as we two, and describe how they will be together again someday in heaven. The damsel even says she will teach him the song that she sings, and she dreams of them together. It is in the next stanza, stanza 17, that the narrative changes again back to the lover. He says that she keeps on saying we two, but when and will they ever really be together like they used to be? Rossetti is using the damsel in this few stanza to describe how damsel would want her ideal and perfect love to be. But could that really be with her in heaven and him on earth? The two walls separating them don't keep them apart in thought, but it is possible to be together. In stanza 22, she once again says that she will want the love to be as it was on earth with the approve of Christ the Lord. Near the end of the poem, it is the last couple of stanza, the damsel finally realizes that she can have none of this until the time comes. The damsel suddenly becomes peaceful and lets the light take her in stanza 23. It is there that the reader also realizes that she will enter heaven without her love. Her lover on earth, of course, knows this, and it is there in the last stanza that I saw her smile. I heard her tears, apart but together in heart. The two are separated by two walls so great that there is nothing that can be done but hope and pray, and that is why the damsel laid her face between her hand and wept. Dante Gabriel Rossetti used the idea of Christian belief in order to write his poem. His poem explores if two lovers or anyone will be reunited once again in heaven. In many ways, this poem is both optimistic and idealistic. That is why so many people said Rossetti was immature on the subject of love when he wrote this. To readers, Rossetti poets, starting with some of his earliest, The Blessed Damozel, and ending with his later, The Orchard Pit. It is apparent how his feeling and ideas change as many times as The Blessed Damozel has been read the explicated. It is no wonder it has been said that so many ideas lie in his famous piece, but who doesn't want to believe, like Rossetti did in his younger years, that love, no matter what, would always live in the spirit of soul and memory. So, friends, till here we have completed question number 3, and in next video we will move to question number 4, which is what attitude to nature does Coleridge express in the Ode to Dejection? In what ways does this attitude differ from that of Wordsworth and from his own earlier attitude? So friend, hope you all like this video and was helpful to you all for your assessment. So friend, I can request you all to subscribe my channel Journey Buddy, which was given in description box, and if you are new to our channel, make subscribe to our channel so that you never missed any update. Thank you.